Okay, welcome everyone to these gatherings, these weekly gatherings with the Cosmic Starseed Academy, Pleiadian Channellings weekly gatherings. Today's date is the 30th of November, 2024, and the time is 7:41 p.m. here in Ireland. I was going to share a video on my email list, and then I decided not to. But it is regarding the Prime Minister in the UK and the recent petitions and signing of that. So if you want to check that out, you can just Google it. And so I do have a few announcements. I've the last couple of months, 3 or 4 months, I have barely left the house. I was really feeling that today. I just wanted to be in nature. So I'm going to start. What I decided to do is to incorporate some outdoor meditations. So I'm going to be doing those. If you'd like to get some of them, you can sign up to my Substack, Soma Aral. What else do I need to say? Yeah, come and sign up to my Substack, Soma Aral. There's free and paid versions. And I think it would be nice to do, I'm going to start off this evening with doing a meditation. I don't know if I'll be channeling the Pleiadians, but I was saying just now that I do feel the energy of Jesus around, and I do have a very strong connection to him, given an experience I had when I was 12, which is in my book, The Pleiadian Child. But basically, I had an out-of-body experience when I was 12, where Jesus came to me. And I have since then had a very strong relationship with him. So what else do I need to say? The energies have been collectively been very intense for so many people. And that seems to come and go. It seems to be on and off, in and out, ebb and flow of intense, and then it kind of eases off. And I know that so many people, so many star seeds and light workers and even shaman and shamanic practitioners have been under extreme attack and targeting. And there seems to be more and more information coming out regarding the negative agenda and the CIA and the three-letter organizations. As I'm speaking, I can really feel the Pleiadians stepping in. But yeah, all systems on Earth are changing, crumbling, falling away, burning away. And one of the things I've been processing lately is my galactic and multidimensional self, which seems to be anchoring in more and more and more into my being and to more of a physical daily basis. And I feel very strongly that this is a collective, very much to do with ascension and the ascension process, and stepping into moving towards the crystalline human being, into a higher dimension, a higher timeline. I think that's everything I'd like to say. I didn't think I was going to be doing a Pleiadian channeling, but I can feel them coming in so strongly. And also I want to add that I was shown years ago that Jesus is Pleiadian. So that's how I see him now, and how I've seen him for so long, because I was told that. I think it was 2010. In 2010, I was told that. So That is how I see him. Would anyone like to say anything before we begin? No? Okay, let's make a start. Dennis, Mark, did you want to say something? No? Okay.
No, I'm all good.
Okay. So Dennis, if you could please start with the prayers.
Very good. So I will say the law of one prayer. I will repeat it 3 times. We are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, I ask for the greatest good of all here concerned. I give thanks this is done, it is so. We are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, I ask here for the greatest good of all concerned. I give thanks this is done, it is so. And a final time, we are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, I ask for the greatest good of all here concerned. I give thanks this is done, it is so. And I will share the affirmation which is shared by Blossom Goodchild. And it is I am the light. I am the love. I am the truth. I am. Say it 2 more times. I am the light. I am the love. I am the truth. I am. I am the light. I am the love. I am the truth. I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. I don't often channel Jesus. But I feel that I'll be doing some of that this evening. And as I step into it, I'm going to turn my camera off for a few moments. Okay, so let us begin with a meditation. Visualize, see, sense, or feel Jesus on your left. If you have another name for him, that's okay too, such as Yeshua. And then in front of you is Merlin and many different animal spirit guides. On your right is Ashtar and other Pleiadian beings of light. And behind you is Mother Mary and other beings of light behind her. And then go around again to your left. You will begin to see beings behind Jesus. lining up one after the one behind the other, kind of in rows, different beings of light beings. And then to your front, you will see the same, and to your right and behind you. And visualize a bubble of white golden light. Completely surrounding you with the most beautiful golden light of protection, of love, of joy, the feeling of peace, blissfulness, elevation as an emotion, a feeling of higher spirits, of joy, love, happiness, gratitude, abundance. And visualize a beam of white light coming down from above, starting at your crown chakra, going through the whole of your body and your feet and deep down into the earth. And you can see this beam going further up and up and up and up, further down, 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 down into the earth, into Mother Gaia. That is a living, breathing planet. With its own energy, a conscious being, living and breathing. And then visualize your heart. Thank you. Becoming bigger than you are. More like a 3D, a 4D, a 5D object spinning around you, encasing you in a heart shape with beautiful different luminescent colors, perhaps even sparkles of light, shapes and symbols, even sounds. But most importantly, a beautiful luminescent colors of light. Symbols are extremely important, and many of them have been recorded in your ancient history. And many scholars professors, people in your science, Harvard, are aware of many hidden teachings that are not released to the vast majority of the humanity and not released in the scientific journals and publications regarding technology, regarding sound, regarding light, regarding science, regarding history, regarding hieroglyphics and symbols, language, light and sound were originally all different aspects of the same energy. Let us say that again, were originally different aspects of the same energy. Symbols, language, light, sound, color are all intertwined and connected. Like, thank you, like different points of a circle where you have north, south, east, and west, or a clock face where you have 12, 3, 6, and 9. We would like to confirm that Jesus is one of us as we relayed this information and shared it with Soma many years ago. Thank you. We would like to incorporate and offer some healing for those here this evening, those listening in the future, those here this evening, and their families and loved ones, their sons, their fathers, their children, their wives, their mothers. And we would like to activate healing within these relationships, whether these people are earth-based or in spirit form. There is no need for you to do anything, but we will talk Soma through a short healing meditation for you to visualize healing energy. So step into your heart center. You can place your hands on your heart if you want to, if you wish to. And visualize, imagine or feel, see or sense your heart becoming bigger than you are. We never, ever recommend that you become smaller, but rather that you remain the same size and that your heart simply becomes bigger than you are. You can add color. You can add symbols. You can add light. You can add light beings. You can add whatever you wish, whatever comes to you naturally. And breathe in this frequency, this light, this color, this sound, this energy, this vibration, this consciousness, this awareness. Breathe in love. Breathe in love. Breathe in love. And then visualize where you want the healing to go. If it is to another, or to yourself, or to the collective, or to an animal, to loved ones in spirit. Hold this frequency of love, of the highest frequency, the highest accord. And then breathe out love. towards this person, animal, or people, whether they are here physically, still living and breathing, or whether they are in spirit. And breathe out that love towards them. And as you do so, be aware that we are stood behind them, each and every one of them, whether you are with us this evening now or watching in the future, does not really matter, does not really make any difference on a higher level. For all is happening now. All is happening now. We, or I, can confirm that I was well traveled. Many of you know me as Jesus. And Egypt was a place I visited and lived. And the Christ consciousness is returning to your planet. Not as quickly as some of you would like, but it is a clearing of the old ways, the old patterns, the old guards, a changing of the guard, a changing of power, a movement forward. So many of the prophecies that have been written were a premonition of your time now. Whenever we have spoken, we being the Pleiadians, whenever we have spoken through Soma, I have always been here in her channelings. So many of you are so much more than you believe you are. You've had countless lifetimes. Again and again and again. We've said this so many times. You have been tracked and traced, and you are just coming out of a sleep state, a reawakening of consciousness, of love, a higher energy, a higher dimension, a higher frequency, a higher sound, a higher ascension, a higher consciousness, a higher state of awareness, a higher state of being. It is a physical process or process. It is a very real manifestation and physical that will include physical changes in your physical vessels. Your physical bodies are changing, adapting. Many of you are struggling to cope with the physical changes, and this includes starseeds. And yet this is part of your mission to process. You are what we often term the first wave of hybrids or human beings, if you want to call yourselves that. The first wave of people, if you want to call yourselves that are anchoring in. a new timeline, an anchoring in ascension process, an anchoring in this physical change within your physical vessels, your bodies, which is a physical thing. And the intensities within this are in and out, on and off. As Soma was saying just now, before we really began to speak through her. We would thank you. We would recommend that you research subjects that you are interested in more and more and more. We have been speaking to this one for so long, increasingly giving her more information the older she gets and the more she channels us. And we've been increasingly saying and letting her know and downloading that there will be thousands upon thousands of discoveries on your planet to do with many different things. We will name some of them here now this evening. Such things as the likes of skeletal giant remains, undiscovered pyramids, the proof of life on other planets, now and in the past. A discovery of what lays beneath the Earth's surface, be it tunnels, be it caverns, be it spaces, be it vast cities, be it small caverns, small chambers, be it sacred writings, be it bones, be it giants, be it Middle Earth, be it fossils, be it sacred text, be it sacred books, be it sacred history, be it sacred science, be it sacred journals and writings, not necessarily on paper, but some other stone-like objects and other ways that were recorded in your history. Not to mention the tunnel that runs, or tunnels that run from the west coast of Ireland that runs all the way beneath your ocean to America. That is walkable. So many tunnels and different environments or cavities, from long, straight, narrow tunnels to caves, to caverns, to spaces, to huge cities lay beneath your earth. Many of these will be discovered or rediscovered. We would recommend that you do research and ask yourselves, why were these built? Why were these needed? Why was it necessary for the human population, the humanity to be underground? Many of these, let us repeat that. We would recommend that you do your research on your own history of humanity as to find out why it was needed. It would have been needed and was needed for you to hide beneath the Earth's surface. Oh, okay, thank you. Because you were seen from above, and this galactic war that has been going on for eons, time and time and time again, there have been attacks and wars and very physical craft that were seen battling with each other. We would like to share some information regarding Nazca lines that we shared with Soma around 2000. This was way before she consciously began to channel us. But there has never been a time when she wasn't in connection with us. And we showed her an image as she was sat in a spiritualist church in Edinburgh. 2004, forgive us, forgive Soma, was 2004. We showed her in a meditation. And this affected her afterwards, because as she was speaking she was in a spiritualist church, and as we were speaking, and as she was speaking to one of the high up members of that particular church, this woman shot her down and said that basically that she was crazy. Because what we showed her that evening was the Nazca lines and how they were etched into the earth from above. And she shared this, perhaps when she shouldn't have, when she was less discerning and more trusting, perhaps even more naive than she is now. Now would be a good time for, let us add, thank you. Let us add that there have been galactic wars on and off your planet. We do live amongst you. We do breathe your air. We have not become so we have not become so distangled from you that we are not able to do this and to walk amongst you. And we do, in a very physical way. Somehow we blend in. Slightly different, but blendable, disguisable to the vast majority. However, those with eyes more open, more aware, do see something in us. They may not be consciously aware of what this is, but they do see something different, something brighter, something unique, something special. These galactic wars, there was a device that when we showed Soma the Nazca lines being made from above the earth, we also showed her a piece of technology that was used And what we are showing her this technology again that was used in ancient times, around the time that the Nazca lines were made. And it looks a bit like a baton, long, thin, thinner at the top and wider at the bottom. A bit like a bat. Not made of wood, but a similar type of shape. And this had a great power, fire, for want of a better word, emanating from the base of it, the bottom of it, that caused great havoc and destruction on your planet. Oh. And during this time, the galactic wars and the UFOs, the spacecraft that we used, that was being used by different alien races, both positive and negative, were seen from the Earth, or in a very clear, visible way. There's been many recordings of this in various different art, in various different structures, in various different hieroglyphics. You could also say that we and others are time travelers. Let us do an activation. Let us do an activation now. Soma, and we wish to do this now. For those here now, and for those listening in the future. We wish to do this now because Soma struggles with the vocabulary and the language and getting across just how, and we struggle to explain to you through Soma just how important the time on Earth now is. It can be referenced to or being just as important as what many term as the Big Bang. She struggles with this, to find the words and the depth and the oomph and the... She struggles to describe the impact and the magnitude of what we show her and what we try to describe in your very limited language and vocabulary that has been changed and adapted and manipulated because of this time now. Because you are coming out of devolution and you are stepping into evolution or a re-evolution or a re-evolution. all those words that we've just said, if you look a little bit more into them, you will see how your language has been tampered with and manipulated. So thank you. So let us do an activation to help you, to help us, to help Soma, to help those listening now, rather those with us now and those listening in the future, so that you can embody, process, understand, feel, hear, see, sense, sound, all that which we are trying to explain through Soma, to do with the great changes that you are going through, the great changes of the universe, the great reset, which is originally a positive term that we phrased. So, the activation. Visualize us. Soma sees us, and many others do. And it is how we look, more or less. Blonde, blue-eyed, tall, thin faces, long noses, wide mouths, more or less. And a beautiful sense of blue around us, a blue auric field could be described as this. And see us in front of you now, those here with us this evening, and those in the future. And as we place our hands on your hearts, visualize Ashtar, if you know his physical, if you know how he looks. But we have described well. And if you can't see a picture in your mind's eye of what we look like or what we have described, visualize Jesus. He has always been one of us. He is Pleiadian. So if you have trouble visualizing us or have not seen us before, either physically or as an image in a book or online, visualize Jesus and the Christ consciousness that we carry, that he carries. Feel our hands on your heart center, on your third eye, on your shoulders, on your hands, on your feet, on your knees, on your hips, on your backs, on your pelvis, on your head, the back of your neck, which is an area that is very easily infiltrated within the human body. Visualize our hands on your crown chakras, on your hearts. And you can also lay down with us in a very motherly or fatherly, protective couch or chair, and let us envelop you with protection and love and light and sound and healing. Blankets of color, blankets of energy, blankets of crystals and light language and symbols, and there are many of us here. We are not alone this evening. We have the Syrians, the Arcturians, the Lyrans. So many of us here this evening. We are gathering and building momentum with all of your channelers upon Earth. All of your channelers upon Earth that we have sent here as channelers of the truth, as channelers of the light, as healers, as light beings, as speakers of the truth, speakers of the light. So many of you remember Egypt, Atlantis, and your past lives. Physically, remember, clearly, remember who you were, whether you were in places such as Dublin or Egypt, paupers or queens of Sheba, kings, whether you were part of the good or the bad. So many of you remember. As the veil is being lifted, the veil of amnesia that was placed around your earth in a very physical way to sever your galactic connection to us and others, such as Lyra, such as Sirius. And yet so many of you are waking up to what is really going on. We are with each and every one of you now, listening now, and in the future. Whenever we mention the word activation, nothing actually needs to be said once we have said the word activation, because we are already doing it. It is already in process and we have already done it. But when we describe it to you, it is easy for you to process. It is easy for you, or easier for you to understand that that is what is occurring. But on a higher level, there is no need for us to explain it. It has already happened. But for those that feel or would like or need to have this process spoken and verbalized, feel our hands on your heart, on your ears, on your crown chakras, your heads, your shoulders, your hips, your knees, your feet. And we are filling your whole bodies with a higher frequency, a higher vibration. You are just beginning to walk into a new dawn, the new earth. And these activations are important on some level to enable you to maintain and balance the higher frequencies that are part of the ascension process as you walk into a new dawn in your physical vessels. We love you. As we were saying just now, before Soma forgot what we were saying that these activations are helping to, from us and others, such as Lyran and Sirius, are helping to, or will help you to balance the energies and to help Soma to explain, rather than explaining it verbally, what we are actually doing, thank you, in these activations is to allow your bodies, your light bodies, your auras, your emotional bodies, your auric fields to download information in more of a, through codes and frequencies than Soma saying it verbally. We are, which is what an activation is. We are activating you with knowledge, wisdom, teachings, codes, energy, information, information, information. Inform, information, in motion. Oh, oh, okay. That is enough for now. That is enough for now. When we say that is enough for now, we are talking about the energy that you are receiving in the form of an activation, whether you are with us now, this evening, or listening at a future date, in a future time. That is enough activation for now. Let your bodies, give yourselves time to process that, to balance the energies. These are momentum times. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. Thanks for yeah. So does anyone have any questions after that? Like, how did you think, what did you think of that channeling? And I got quite emotional.
I'm not surprised that I'm very profoundly impressed by that, especially when Jesus came through. I've got a few questions to ask next time. I'm not upset by the description, your assertion, or his assertion, that he was Pleiadian. Now, we know that there, in my father's house are many mansions. We know that means dimensions, where the rate of atomic vibration is different and determines the state of that dimension, which is, science tells us we can't see other dimensions, although they apparently can come through to us. Okay, Jesus came to Earth, but there are other dimensions, and like the ones the Pleiadians are in, and there's no reason to think that he didn't go and do the same thing to other dimensions. So that does make a lot of sense to me. It doesn't worry me as a Christian, but it might worry people who don't have much capacity for thought, rational thought.
I have no interest in what people think anymore, Michael. I really don't. And I say that with love, you know. I don't care. I just don't care what people think. They either resonate with what I'm saying, and I can see an image now in my mind's eye of I don't know what that noise was, um of the radio station with all different frequencies, you know, and I don't care. Like, whatever. It doesn't interest me. It just doesn't interest me. It doesn't.
Yeah, okay, it does interest me, and I like to be able to think these things through.
I mean, what I mean by that is that the people on a lower frequency, I've no interest in converting or
No, I'm
explaining.
sure you haven't.
Yeah. What does matter to me is that the message of the Pleiadians reaches people that it's meant to.
Yeah, exactly, yes.
I'm interested to hear what your questions are. I don't think I'll be going back into another channeling tonight because
No, leave it for the future.
okay. And if you want to write them down and send them to me in Substack, do. Even if it's to help you to.
I'd prefer to do it when you're doing a channeling and you say
Okay.
questions.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay too. Just just that's more for you so that you don't forget what the questions are.
No. Skeptics would say that if I told you what my questions were, they'd say, "Oh, well, that's how she can look it up." You see, so I don't do it like that. But in fact, it was just yes or no to my main question.
Well, here's something for the skeptics. I have a memory like a sieve. So, and the older I get, and it's probably to do with uh, perimenopause and hormonal. But Dennis will know this that I forget stuff
Mm.
a lot of the time, and actually, it's always with the channeling. I never remember the channelings in full, so a lot of the stuff I do forget, which is interesting because I would never be able to contain all that information.
Yes, trance mediums say the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. Because I wouldn't say that you're completely out of your body, because if you were completely out of your body, you would be in spirit. But I would say that you were 50% at least out of your body with the trance channeling anyway. Which I actually started to do when I was doing the mediumship training, and I had spirit come through. But anyway, that's another story. So is there anything else you wanted to add, Michael, before we go around the circle? And thank you.
No, I thought that was probably the best channeling yet. You're getting really good.
Thank you. Yeah, it does feel like that for me as well. It does feel um that I'm progressing and moving forward, and yeah, which is lovely. Um yeah.
So they showed you Yeshua in Egypt. Did he ever make it over to Asia?
Most likely. Most likely. I don't think there was many places he didn't go. I know for absolute certainty that he was in the UK and Ireland. And recently I was told Peru as well. Machu Picchu. But most likely, yeah. I mean, I don't think there were many places that he didn't go. He was widely traveled. He wasn't, yeah, he liked to travel. He liked to reach people. He liked to speak. He liked to connect. He liked to give evidence. He liked teaching. He liked to give evidence of some of his abilities. He liked to show, and that wasn't an egotistical thing. That was more to show people what they could also do. So yeah, he liked to travel. He was in Africa. When I first saw him, when I was 12, in that out-of-body experience, at the time I believed he came to me because my mum was Catholic. And had she been Buddhist, it probably would have been Buddha. That's kind of my understanding at the time. But now I have a different perspective, knowing more of my connection to the Pleiadians and him. But when he came to me, that first time, he had dark Mediterranean type skin and a long, dark beard. And I think he was all in white, I think, like in a white robe. I mean,
So then sometimes he can appear in his more Palladian starseed form, and then other times more in his here on Earth Mediterranean form.
whenever I see him, I see that image of him when I saw him before. Actually, that's not true. Sometimes his beard is shorter. But I always see him more or less similar to how I saw him, with a beard and the dark skin and the clothing.
Because when you're channeling, I think they then said he looks like us, and they were describing themselves as blonde, the blonde, tall, blue-eyed Pleiadians. And so that's why I'm thinking, he was when he's with them as their family, he looks like them. And
Yes.
then, down here on Earth, you may more have seen him as a historical version.
Yes.
Whenever I see him show up, I always see, and I've never seen him as, I mean, his energy is Pleiadian, but
Yeah. I mean, during your channeling, the Palladians said, that's what they said.
okay.
And so that's why I'm just kind of putting together, like, when Michael's agreeing.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, because like I definitely he seems to appear to a lot of different people in different manners, and it's I mean, because he's multidimensional like we all are.
Yeah. And one of the things that I really got to me as a child, and still now, about the Catholic Church, is that they've turned the angels and Jesus into someone that is unreachable, because then they have control over people's access to Jesus and Mother Mary and other deities and godlike beings, and that is far from the truth. They have I mean, they're satanic, so they have
Right.
no control over any of that. But their programs that they're working with are to disempower humanity and disempower people. And so that one of the programs they're working with is to make Jesus inaccessible, or make people believe that he's inaccessible to the vast majority and regular people, like Mary down the road, or Carol in Hackney. And nothing is further from the truth. We all have that ability to expand our abilities and connect with the likes of Jesus and the Pleiadians. And you were saying earlier about animal communication and telepathy. We all have those abilities, and some of us are just more aware of them, but we all have those abilities. We can all be channelers, we can all be mediums, we can all be all of it, because it's innate within us. We came from the stars. We have abilities that are extraordinary, that are actually very ordinary for where we came from, but they've been they've been turned into something else through the propaganda.
Inversion. Yeah, they
Yeah.
invert everything.
Yeah. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, exactly.
Inversion and distortion.
Yep, exactly. And predominantly by the churches, and the Catholic Church has had a huge influence with that. And throughout history, they have done some horrendous things, and a lot of it it hasn't been shared.
The Pleiadians mentioned the giant skeletal remains. The Vatican, more in the European theater, and the Smithsonian here in continental US in general, have been for however many decades squirreling away and disappearing these various remains to enforce, the Darwinian type of historical narrative, which is simplistic and crumbling.
Yeah. And what is that? What are they called? It's there's an institute in America that, did you mention?
Smithsonian.
Yes.
Smithsonian.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They've what they've done in the past is, with some of the remains, not all of them, but with a huge amount of the remains of giant skeletons, they've dumped them overboard from ships. And I know they've done that in order to hide them forever, because who is going to find that, at the bottom of thousands of meters of water and ocean. But they do still have, there's a lot of remains that they do still have. And one of the channelings I did recently for someone, actually for Julia, in a personal, private Pleiadian channeling, some of the information that came through was, and she's okay with me releasing this because she said I could release the recording. But they were saying that there are still, which I found fascinating, they said that the giants are not wiped out. They said that there's giants in particular in Scotland. And when I saw them visually, I could see an image of a tall, I say tall, there's a giant, but a male with long red hair, or ginger red hair, curly, kind of more frizzy than curly, male, and in Scotland somewhere. So, and I think they said they were living deep underground in caves. I think that's what they said. I'll be releasing it anyway over the next couple of months, or sooner, hopefully before January. I've got so much to do. But yeah, that surprised me that because I had thought they'd been wiped out, but they said no, they haven't all been completely wiped out. There's still some left, not many at all. But Scotland, yeah.
Well, are there any inner Earth giants still?
I don't know. I think they said that they lived in caves underground. So I don't know if you would call that Middle Earth.
In inner Earth.
Inner
Yeah,
Earth.
anything underground counts. If they're living in, if it's enough of the space that they can live and subsist and have an ecosystem down there, that counts.
Okay. That's what they said. As soon as I release it, I'll let you know when I've I haven't learnt editing yet, but I need to. She wants to remain private, so I need to edit that before I can release it. But I guess I could just release the audio without having to edit it too much, or at all, really. Just release the audio. So I could do that easily enough. There's a few things I need, a few videos and interviews and stuff that I need to work on and edit before I can release them. Yeah. So Judy, do you have any questions before you go, or have you gone? Sorry, Brian, did you have anything else? I'm sorry.
I do have one more question. It's
Okay.
about do you know any comment on the Montauk project and any SSP or breakaway revelations? Because they mentioned a lot of revelations.
I think that there's going to be some very dark information coming out. And we've seen that over the last couple of months. We've seen a lot of CIA whistleblowers coming out. Every time I go on Facebook nowadays, I see like Kerry Cassidy, she has a lot of whistleblowers coming out. But I think that there's a lot of people that are waking up to what they've done, and a lot of guilt, a lot of they're trying to make amends for what they've done. And I think there'll be many more people revealing some of the horrendous stuff that they do to people. And that's not even to mention the targeting and the technology. That's also stuff like the Area 51 and some of those horrendous, evil experiments that they do on people. In blending, creating hybrids, things like, I don't know, what have I seen? Monkeys and humans. I mean, that's old news, but just the beings that have no mouth, that are just uh, Frankenstein experiments, Frankenstein experiments to the extreme, where these beings are just in so much agony and torture, and just like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes out, and a lot of people will not believe it because it's not believable. It's, who's going to believe that this is what the governments are doing?
So you've seen everything from not just the cloning stuff, but the hybridization and all the experiments, the genetic stuff that's producing like monstrosities when these are just poor beings that got turned into that.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen all that, and I don't like talking about it because what good does it bring? But I probably will.
People should know that it's happening underneath our feet with our tax dollars to people who are being disappeared.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel that the Pleiadians will go more into areas like Area 51 and those experiments. I just have a hard time in sharing some of that information to do with the beings that have been created that have no mouths. They're in horrendous pain, and they're very innocent beings. That they're like animals.
But I've heard some beings have been rescued already from some of the underground bases, and some of them have been taken to off-world places to get advanced, like super advanced medical healing and treatment, but then also to be off-world, to be, rehabilitated and, to get to live off-world because Earth hasn't been the most hospitable to them.
Yeah, and I don't know how you, like, I don't know how you rehabilitate or a being that
You correct them genetically and you give them a healthy vessel to be in.
yeah.
Let's see what else. They also talked about yeah, because they talked about the giants, they talked about inner Earth. What other pyramids? Pyramids all over the place that are yet as of yet undiscovered.
Mm.
Um, what else did they talk about in terms of revelations? Did they talk about craft or anything? I think they said craft as well. And how many beings we're surrounded by.
What, this evening?
Yeah, in your channeling, this was part of their message today.
Wait, what
Because
did they say about the craft?
I mean, they were just talking about how lots of things are going to be revealed to us. And then they gave like a pretty decent list of like cool stuff to be revealed.
What, I don't remember them talking about any craft or anything.
Maybe they didn't mention craft. That's why. But I'll go back and listen when you release this recording. Because
Okay.
yeah, I got interrupted at the very end of the activation as well. So,
Oh yeah.
so
How did you find that?
I think it's great. I think the especially the visualization uh it's the earliest with Brother Yeshua on the left, and then Merlin, and then Ashtar, and then Mother Mary, and then it's kind of like going back around where like Merlin that had like earth beings and forest creatures. And for me, it's I can kind of visualize in my mind's eye, but I it's a joke. Like I think my third eye has been blocked intentionally. I've been nerfed by certain negative beings who they don't want me to have access to certain abilities right now, or ever if they could have their way.
No.
Um, and but the visualization then of also it felt very organic. And then Ashtar with like positive ETs and galactics with him. And then I was thinking of Mother Mary and more of the female ascended master lineages. And then back to Yeshua and then him with other male ascended masters, together with him. And kind of like having and that just the way the visualization and activation built on itself was um, very powerful.
It was really nice they did that because I do struggle to find the words to explain just
But
how.
it, so they lay out like a sacred geometry, and then they're giving like assigning like the beings and the energies to each part of the geometry, and then off of that they like expand like pulling the energies from the stars and up high, the higher dimensions, and then down here through us down to Earth, and then back up through, and then there was the ball of energy, and then it kind of like went out from expanding the love frequency out from there. So you could kind of see like a geometry and a methodology to it, and how, kind of like how um,
Yeah.
the visualization is definitely building on itself.
Yes. And I always find when they do stuff like that that it's not a 3D, it's a 4D where there's a viewpoint or it's different. Um, like it's not it's not a 3D cube, it's a 4D, 5D, 60, 70 and more cube where it comes alive, or the images or the symbols come alive.
Well, you're actively being shown imagery and things.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to visualize it in my head. So I think there might be a distinction there. I've got a book right here. Valiant, the words, uh, yeah, was it? Yeah, Virile Force. And then I'd imagine it's got a lot of the similar meditations and visualization in it,
I
given
haven't seen the book before, but
yeah.
it looks good. It's like the Merkaba. It's like looking at a Merkaba in terms of um, symbols that have that are um, that have a consciousness, an awareness, a movement, a color, a sound, a frequency, that are crystalline. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's really beautiful. It's out of this world, really, to see some of the images and the symbols that I do. They're not 3D. It's, you know, you know.
Do they have any other messages that they wanted to share today, or from Brother Yeshua?
My energy is obtainable. The Christ consciousness is there for you and actually within you. You just have to open the door and walk through, or access that energy, connect with me, connect with the I am presence, connect with the Christ consciousness that is within all of you. I am not unobtainable. I am achievable. I am reachable, is a better word. Contactable, telephonable. Most people find me through pain and suffering and grief and loss and trauma. That's how most people find me. Because they let go in those moments, they let go of their mind. And when you're in the grief process, and this is news to Soma, kind of, but when you're in the grief process, you're in a different reality. In a different reality, you're in an altered mind state due to the grief process, which is the same as or similar to, let us say the same as trauma and grief, is more or less twin aspects. And when you're in that energy, DMT is released in the brain that awakens. Your consciousness expands. And that can also be achieved through some of your sacred hallucinogenics. I don't often channel Jesus. Well, I don't often admit to that.
Sadly, he can be a controversial figure, whether you're approaching it from the UFO side, where, oh, they don't want to talk about Yeshua, and then there's the other side where all ETs are demons. And so it's interesting to be having a discussion with Brother Yeshua, where he can come through, and here he is as with also Starseed extraterrestrial lineage, which shouldn't be a surprise. And uh to talk about all this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, look at his supposed birth. When I look at that, I just, the way I understand it is that he wasn't from here, therefore he didn't need a physical father. If that story is true.
If you got source energy, they can do anything. even if you had ET interference, that could explain it too. But I mean, source can manifest anything, so it doesn't. It's it's when it takes a certain level of faith to know that um, there's a lot more to this reality than meets the eye, and how malleable it really is, especially as beings and entities move up in terms of the power spectrum.
Yeah. And yeah. And I think that well, I don't think, but I know that one of the main reasons I've been able to access so much of that energy and have so many experiences that are um out of this world is because um I've never really had normal. I've not done the normal childhood. I've not done the normal schooling. I've not done the normal early 20s. I've not done the normal uh, um get married, have kids, you know, that I've not I like when I was married, it wasn't a normal marriage. So and I think that I've been kind of what is the word? Protected maybe. I think the word is protected, to enable me to continue with having a Pleiadian connection or and to channel them.
You mentioned interference and alphabet agencies. Um, is there any? I mean, I know a lot of them are literally mind controlled assets, but then on the other hand, is the light getting through to any of these people who've chosen the darkness? Are they waking up? I mean, with all the revelations hitting us in the public, I'm wondering if it's affecting them in any way, and especially on a spiritual plane.
Yeah, I think over the last 10 years, I think some of the people um like Elon Musk and Sasha Stone. Okay.
Oh boy, that's the one. You can see a
Yeah,
name right there.
yeah. I think some of the people, um, as well as the whistleblowers, I think some of them have very dark histories. I think some of them are maybe clones. I don't know. But I think for a long time I was very much on the fence about Elon. Um, but I think now I think he's a good guy that has a past, and maybe he is a clone or he's been replaced. But I don't. I think maybe he wasn't the Elon that we used to know. Um, so I think, yeah, I think there's different stuff going on there. I think sometimes they're clones or they're taken out and replaced by good guys, or they've simply left the dark side and moved into the light side. Um,
A
yeah,
walk-in maybe came in.
a
Who
walk-in
knows?
possibly.
They
Yeah,
they could have been swapped out. Anything, yeah, a lot of possibilities. They could have been told, hey, as long as you don't cross a certain line and play ball, then you get to maintain your position. And the minute you cross the line, then your darker past gets to be exposed.
yeah.
Yep. Oops,
And
sorry.
I love Sasha Stone. I love him. Um, and I did a couple of interviews with him a few years ago, and they were taken down within 4 minutes of being on YouTube, like 4 minutes, and it was taken down. And but I do think that he has a past. I think he has come away from um some really bad stuff.
And he's 100% come away from that. Is not part of that.
I hope so.
And
But
then how
then
about those? Uh, was that Soma?
I was just going to say, but then so many people have been infiltrated as well, like the Dalai Lama and
The Dalai Lama was infiltrated from the get-go. What people
so
don't
many people
understand
didn't know that. Like I didn't know that.
that sect of Bon animism has always been skinning people alive and taking children from the local village to build their gold-covered temples up there in the rough mountainside. Those didn't get built by themselves by people just chanting and meditating. I understand the whole Tibet China thing, like ugh, like that's a big mess, but this is going back before all of that.
Yeah.
There was some serious nasty religious theocracy where it was like feudalism. It was religious feudalism in there, and it was not good if you were the common yak farmer.
Yeah. On a funny note, yak meat is delicious.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've had the dried yak meat. It's good. I hear yak butter is not
Oh my God, no, no,
yak butter, yak milk. Yeah, not supposedly as good.
no.
Unless it's an acquired taste, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Much less fermented yak milk.
Oh my God, no.
Mm,
And Tibetan tea is the most disgusting thing I've ever drunk.
no.
It's made a tea made from butter, and it tastes like um a hot melted butter. And it's just disgusting. Um,
So do so with the all the agents and handlers tuning in on us, are they having any change of heart at all? Are they starting to see that the light's gonna win? Are they starting to get second thoughts and doubts and wishing they could be on the winning side? Any of that?
I think so. I think a lot of them are, and I've been quite aware of it. Recently with my own attack and targeting, I've been aware that they're kind of stopping in their tracks. And realizing that what that realize having a conscience and realizing that what they're doing is it's not okay, it's not good, it's not.
Maybe their programming's starting to break down.
I think so. I think it is. Um, I think so. Yeah, I do. I think there will, and I think, well, I know that there will be many more CIA agents that and other similar agencies that will be coming out and being whistleblowers, and they'll be getting online and looking for interviews to do, and they will be more or less safe. Um, and there'll be hundreds more, like hundreds of them.
Yeah, because the capability of the other side to play whack-a-mole is rapidly failing. No, they don't have the money to pay their henchmen to do their dirty work, and the henchmen are getting tired of it anyway.
Yeah, they
And
don't.
then the henchmen are realizing that those $1 million payouts aren't coming. Then there's gonna be some John Wick action, I suspect.
Yeah, and they're losing their resources, they're losing the people, they're losing the everything that they were in control of, the resources and the money and the finances and the people,
Yeah.
and the people that they were using as puppets to be agents are waking up and realizing, oh shit, what have I done? What am I doing? I need to get out of this. And yeah. Um,
That takes all the fun out of harassing and targeting individuals, doesn't it?
it yeah, it's I think those people are waking up to the fact that there will be repercussions. They're becoming more aware, more self-aware, more conscious of what they're doing.
They thought they were going to be the henchmen for the rulers of the world.
Yeah, and they're not at all. And I think they're realizing that they're starting to see, maybe even through remote viewing or whatever bullshit they're using, whatever negative.
Chronovisor technology, yellow.
Yes.
Not the yellow book. Might be the yellow book, but chronovisor technology and looking glass technology.
Yeah. I think they're having experiences as we speak of seeing a more positive timeline and realizing that they're going down big time. Possibly even with a lot of jail time.
That's if they're lucky.
That's if they're lucky, yeah. That's if they're lucky. A lot of them will be, I don't know if some of them will be taken out.
Anyone guilty of crimes against humanity, I understand, and especially hurting little ones.
Yeah. But I think
yeah.
some of them will be taken out by their own.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's happening right now.
Okay.
I mean, who knows? Will Rothschild just got supposedly burned up in a mansion fire, a house fire.
Yeah, I saw that. That's interesting, isn't it? It's like, and of course, a lot of people will think that was just he left the stove on or something silly, an accident, you know.
Yeah, well, there's definitely the plausible deniability factor.
I am going to have to go soon, but this evening was wonderful. And I wanted to, no, not yet, Brian. I just, because we haven't gone round yet completely. But I just wanted to ask Dennis what you thought of that. And then I'll go around the group and ask about the activations and what you got from that as well. So Dennis, are you there? Can you put your camera on? Is there anything you want to share? Are you able to put your camera on? Brian, thank you. Some of those questions and they weren't all questions, but some of the questions there were really interesting.
Welcome.
Dennis, are you there?
You might have stepped away for a second.
Yeah. Michael, will we start with you while Dennis is...
Yes, as I said, that was very profound and emotional for me. Excuse me. I did feel something during the activation, and I was told you are already activated. No disrespect to you. So I'm pretty happy with all that. And I was pleased that you put in a healing, you asked for healing for us, particularly in my position. So thank you very much. I shall watch this again next week to see if there's anything I missed. But I think it's very profound. If you can carry on with that sort of channeling, I shall be very happy, particularly when Jesus came through. You said you don't often channel him. Well, hopefully he'll come through again.
I thank you. And I tend to play it down when I'm working with him. But he's kind of always here when I channel the Pleiadians because he's Pleiadian.
Good.
So I do play it down. And it's been known in the past that sometimes in readings, or channelings, he'll just give his initial as J. So yeah, I think that's to take away some of the what is that word? Some of the the program of the Catholic Church having put Jesus on a pedestal where
Yes,
he's
yes, I know
unreachable.
what you mean.
You know.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, and they have said over the last couple of months that, you know, maybe 4 to 6 months, probably 4 to 6 months, they've been saying that I will, that it's a very progressive journey for me with the channeling, and so I'll be moving more into being able to do light language, which I did once in a channeling, and I wasn't very impressed with myself at all. But I'm very I can be very hard on myself and self-judgmental and very much of a perfectionist as well. So
they're good qualities.
yes, thank you. Well, I don't know. I think sometimes we can be so, especially perfectionists, can be so hard on themselves that we need to, or I need to free up that energy sometimes. And sometimes things can take me longer because I'm trying to get it perfect. Like a website, for instance. I'm having my website done at the moment, and I think I need to loosen my perfectionist abilities because it's taking too long. You know, it's been 6 months I've been working on it, and it should have taken 6 weeks. So, and I'm not doing it myself. I'm having it done professionally. So, Dennis, are you there? But thank you, Michael. Dennis is not there, so I'll let him off because he's busy. Thank you, guys. And I shall see you, if I don't see you before, I'll see you next week.
Okay. Bye.